In visiting London, most people never make it to Greenwich. And that's a mistake because this is where London stops feeling like a postcard and starts revealing how the city actually became powerful. You'll walk through spaces and explain how Britain projected itself across oceans, standardized time itself, and transformed a small island into a global force. If you want to experience London with more depth, structure, and meaning, download the full curated London guide below. It includes all 5 days of free itinerary, sequencing, planning strategies, and the deeper context most visitors completely miss. You can also explore the full London playlist for every episode in the series, because doing London right isn't about seeing more, it's about understanding what you're actually looking at. Hello there, coming to you live from Virgin Hotels, Shoreditch, London. Oh my goodness, the National Maritime Museum in Greenwich, in London, Greenwich Park, is just incredible. Again, it's another one of these free museums. It captures the maritime history of the United Kingdom, which is, of course, significantly important to the world and to London. Maritime trade is really what made London and the United Kingdom the powerhouse, superpower nation it was for so long, and obviously it still is such a great nation. What I love about this museum, aside from the fact that it's free, is that it is so thorough. If you love geography, history, and maritime excursions, maritime stories, maritime things, this is your museum. It chronicles the different trade routes in the different regions of the world that Britain had a presence in, which was everywhere, including the polar regions. And it is mind-blowing. It's a mix of science, geography, and art. I mean, you see artifacts, you learn the history, and they don't shy away or gloss the history either, which I really appreciate. They really get into the nitty-gritty. You know, a lot of the maritime trade that was established was built on brute power. You know, enslaving people, the African slave trade of the West, the opium wars in China, dumping a bunch of opium, getting the Chinese hooked on it to dismantle their country. You know, the history of this museum doesn't shy away from any of it, and it puts it into context. We all know the moral of power corrupting. Power corrupting is not singular to any one nation or any one people. When you get power and you get a taste of that wealth, you get a taste of that excess, you want a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, then suddenly you're willing to do anything you need to do in order to keep all of that wealth and power. And, you know, obviously that's the tale of the British Empire, but it's also the tale of a lot of other empires too, like the Ottoman Empire, the Egyptian Empire, several African kingdoms, the American Empire, some people could argue. What's also extraordinary is that they talk about and they show all of the great things that came from this trade. You know, access to new technologies, new spices, new foods that were just so enormously important to Europeans and to the trade routes, and enriched both sides of ports that were trading and dealing with it. And then they had this fascinating map of the world that was focused on the coastlines of the continents. I loved getting into it. I loved just exploring it. So I found it to be just fascinating. Right next door to the National Maritime Museum is the Queen's House. And this was a house built for Queen Anne I. She was originally Danish. She was married to, I think, James II or James I, one of the Jameses, first or second. And it was an apology gift. She apparently shot his dog. She claims by accident, but James wasn't having it. He cursed her out good. Cursed her out. And she took umbrage to that. She's like, you stained, you sullied my character, you sullied my honor. He's like, I'm sorry, baby, here, I'll buy you a house. He built this house. And it's, of course, a palace. And it's a beautiful palace, and it's famous for the tulip staircase. which is this spiral unsupported staircase. It's just the spiral that basically supports it. There's no beams underneath. And it was the first of its kind in the UK. But that's not why it's called the tulip staircase. It's called the tulip staircase because of the ornate wrought iron shaped like little tulips, which I thought was kind of cool. Each of the palatial rooms is filled with art, a lot of portraits, and also a lot of maritime wars. So this particular house has art that focuses on the naval history, like a lot of the naval battles. They also depict like sailors and British Navy life, and then they have portraits of kings and queens there as well. It's kind of like a mix of a lot of different things. They also have accoutrement like crockery and pottery, and they have maritime naval technology like dials, astrolabes. I don't know if that's even a word. I think I just made that up. But these kind of dials and devices that were kind of like compasses, but compasses for the stars that mariners could use to sail the seas and know where they were and know where they were going. It's fascinating. It's a lot of information. I was only able to go through so much of it before my mind just but they have the original Armada portrait of Queen Elizabeth I, which I found really fascinating. And of course, that portrait is very significant for this particular museum, given its naval history, because that is, I think, the first portrait that was taken of her after the English had defeated the Spanish Armada. It's a really powerful portrait, which I highly recommend you checking out. Once you're done, or in between the two museums, you can actually walk up the path in the back, which is Greenwich Park. You can walk up the path to the Royal Observatory. The Royal Observatory will cost you money. It's expensive. It's like £24 a person or something like that. I don't necessarily recommend buying that because you're going to be really tuckered out from those two museums down the hill, the National Maritime Museum and the Queen's House. That's enough. I just recommend going up to the observation deck because you have some of the best views of the London skyline, of central London and its skyline. It will take your breath away. It will also take your breath away because it's an uphill walk. It's a steep walk. You will burn some calories. If that walk does not turn your buttocks into steel, I don't know what will. But it's a pretty steep walk, so just pace yourself. But once you're up there, you can also see the designation of the Greenwich Meridian and the official time clock. It's like one of the first electric clocks there. It's just amazing to be part of that history. And if you want, you could also venture deeper into Greenwich Park because it's a massive park. I didn't do it because at that time it was windy and the clouds were kind of, congregating in that ominous way where it kind of looks like there might be a deluge, and there was. So I just went to the observation deck, really enjoyed those skyline views. God, it was so beautiful. And then headed my way back down to the Queen's House. And again, for those free, you don't need to make reservations for either. I did, but nobody checks your ticket. So you can just waltz on in there to both. Don't stress it if you're not able to get the time you want. Just go whenever you want, because that's exactly what I did. And nobody cares. Nobody was checking tickets. You could spend the entire day in Greenwich because it's just so wonderful. You could, start out at the Maritime Museum and really just get lost in that museum. That museum can take you 3/4 of a day, I would say. You could easily burn 4 hours there, easy. And then you could spend a couple of hours in Greenwich Park if you wanted to go up to the observation deck and check it out and enjoy it, and maybe even have a bite to eat on the lawn if the weather's cooperating, and even take a stroll down further. And then you could also spend a couple of hours. The Queen's House is actually smaller, but you could spend a solid 2 hours going through the art. The art is significant, and there's a lot of rooms with a lot of the art and objet and that's an entire day that you can spend there, which I highly recommend. And there's access to subways, and there's also access to buses. Buses, like the subways, use the tap pay on credit cards. And so don't be scared about using any of the buses because they're all right there. They're all super easy to figure out. And it's a great way to spend a day in the Greenwich area. Some of the best killer views and some of the most unique history and art that you'll see in your trip to London if you're using the free route. These museums, highly recommend. If this helped deepen your experience, subscribe and continue to the rest of the series because every day in this guide unlocks a different layer of London and there's still more to access.